Has anyone ever given you a hard time about your messy desk? Or maybe about how you jump from one hobby to the next? Well, what if I told you those weird habits aren't flaws at all? What if they're actually the secret behind some of the most creative minds in history? Today, we are diving into the surprising science that says your quirks, they might just be your biggest strengths. So let's start with a question that, might hit a little close to home for some of us. Go ahead, take a look at your workspace right now. Is it perfectly neat and tidy? Or is it more of a, well, let's call it a landscape of creative chaos? The answer could honestly reveal way more about how your mind works than you think. For years, probably decades, we've all been fed this idea that a clean desk is the sign of a productive, super organized person. And that brings us to our first big idea, this whole myth of messiness, and really why we're so quick to judge a cluttered space. I mean, we've all heard this one, right? A cluttered desk for a cluttered mind. It's one of those bits of conventional wisdom that just gets passed down, suggesting your physical space is a perfect mirror of your mental state. But what if that's just completely wrong? This is where it gets really interesting, because science is actually starting to flip this entire idea on its head. It turns out that mess, it might not be chaos at all. It could, in fact, be a really effective system of prioritization. So this leads us to this really cool concept called selective organization. Now, this isn't about being lazy, not at all. It's about a strategic use of your brain power. Your mind is basically making a judgment call, deciding that the energy it would take to organize every last paper is way better spent solving a complex problem or, coming up with the next big idea. And this just lays it out so clearly. The myth says you've got a messy mind. The reality? You're actually engaged in high-level prioritization. The myth calls you lazy. Science says you're just saving mental energy. See the difference? It's all about shifting your focus from the little, mundane stuff to the tasks that are truly going to move the needle. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. We're going to pivot from messy desks to another trait that gets a really bad rap. That tendency to get completely, totally, obsessively fascinated with a topic, only to just drop it a few weeks later for something totally new. Come on, does this sound like you? One month, you're learning absolutely everything there is to know about ancient Roman history, and the next, you're trying to master sourdough bread. And then, bam, all of a sudden, you're deep in the world of quantum physics. Let's dig into what's really happening here.
Yeah, society tends to label this kind of behavior as being flighty or, lacking focus. It's so easy to think to yourself, ugh, why can't I just stick to one thing? But the latest research points to a really powerful cognitive process that's just been misunderstood.
So instead of being a flaw, science is reframing this as the brain's curiosity engine. Think about it this way. It's not a bug in your system, it's a feature. It's actually a highly efficient system that's designed for rapid learning and soaking up data. So how does this engine actually work? Well, it all starts with a spark. A question pops into your head that you just have to find the answer to. That triggers a deep dive where your brain kicks into this intense data gathering mode. You focus obsessively for a short burst. And then, once you acquire the knowledge you were after, your brain feels satisfied, and it immediately starts looking for the next fascinating puzzle. It's not a weakness, it's a learning superpower. So, after all this, what's the big takeaway? It's actually pretty simple. It's time to stop looking at these habits as flaws we need to fix and start embracing them for what they really are, creative assets. Okay, let's recap the big points here. That messy desk of yours, it's not a flaw. It's selective organization at work. And those short-lived obsessions, that's just your brain's curiosity engine firing on all cylinders. See, these aren't signs of chaos. They're the hallmarks of a really busy, highly active, and creative mind. So here's the really crucial point. Before you go trying to fix your messy desk or force yourself to stick with a hobby you've already lost interest in, just stop. Take a second and consider that these might not be flaws that need correcting. They might actually be the very source, the very engine of your creativity. And that really leaves us with one last thought to chew on. Take a look at your own quirks. The things people might have told you are inefficient or just plain strange. Which of them, if you look a little closer, might actually be your secret superpower?